Hi everyone, I'm Cody, W3AMG with Bridgecom Systems, and today we are doing some free live training, and we are going to show each and every one of you how to listen to digital repeaters even if you don't have your call sign yet. So this is going to be great. So if you're just getting into amateur radio, or you have already passed your test but you don't have your call sign yet and you want to start playing around with your radio, this allows you to get started before you actually start making transmissions. So before we get started with that, I just want to do a few shout outs here. We'll see who's in the house this morning. Let's see. So we have a Ralph N6GVG. Good morning, Ralph. Let's see, James N8JVC. Good morning, James. We have a Rodney WG4 USA, like the call sign. Let's see, Mark KD5L. Good morning from Louisiana. Let's see, who else we have in here? Charles K0ITP. Good morning, Charles. Walter VA2WLT. Good morning. Bill N8CQD. Morning, Bill. Todd KD9SKK. Awesome. Ron KB9ZB. Morning, Ron. Hello from Michigan Lake, Jake K8JML. Let's see, Douglas WL7FI. So good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Great opportunity. Before we get started, I want to do a couple of announcements. So we are actually going to be giving away an Anytone 878 UV Plus at this giveaway, or in the stream. So you do have to be present to win, so make sure in the description there's a way for you to sign up, but you have to stay until the end if you want to have a chance to win it. We'll draw the winner if you're present. We'll give it to you, but if you're not, we'll draw another winner. So a great opportunity to win a fantastic little radio. And then I also want to let all of you guys know the summer giveaway will be ending soon. It's still going on, so you still have a chance to enter that. It's over a $2,500 value, and that is going on right now as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the process. So we've got our radio here. I've got two radios, and we'll be using them both. This is the one we're going to be listening and monitoring with, and we are going to be doing this completely legally without transmitting. This is under the impression that I don't have a call sign. Now I do, so in order to show you and demonstrate that it works, we will be using this radio to transmit to the local repeater and talk on it, and we'll be able to listen to it with this one. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, go ahead and turn on your radio that you want to do this with. Now I've completely reinitialized this one, so it is as good as brand new. So we'll go ahead and get that booted up here and initialized. And then take your programming cable and plug that into your computer and your radio. Go ahead and get this all set up here. Set this one aside, and we will have to do a little bit of information finding after this. So we are hooked up, plugged in, ready to go here. So now we have to figure out the information for our local repeater. So we're going to jump in the computer here and open up a web browser. And I'm going to go to repeaterbook.com. This is a great resource. We've used it before and we'll use it again. It actually keeps track of pretty much all the local repeaters throughout the nation and even the world. And you can search for them, on a map or by what type of repeater they are. It's a great way to find your local repeater. So we're going to go to North American repeaters and then find our local DMR repeater. So Missouri. Okay, and I'm going to select DMR. Okay. Perfect. And then if you know what the repeater is, obviously you can search through them and find the one that's closest to you, but I know the one I'm looking for, so I'm just going to do a Control F and then search for KCI, and that's what it's called. So I can then click on that repeater and find out some information about it. So the information we will need to be able to monitor it is the uplink and downlink frequency. We'll need that information. we will need the color code. I don't know for a fact if you need the color code for digital monitor, but you may as well put it in, and you may actually need it. So we're going to get the color code, and we also want to know the time slot. So this recommends time slot 1 for other Brandmeister talk groups. This isn't a big deal, but I would recommend setting this up properly. That way, when you do get your call sign, you can just go in there and uncheck one button and start using these same channels to talk on, instead of having to add more information. So we're going to set it up so you can do that. So I've got all of that information written down here, the frequencies, the color code, and the time slot. So we know our information now. Now at this point, we want to download the CPS for our radio. Now I already have it installed here. This is the 878 UV2 Plus, the latest and greatest radio out there. But if you don't have that, what you do is you simply go to our website, bridgecomsystems.com. Then you go to the support section. And this is always going to be similar. You know, things change from time to time, but it's going to be, in general, the same process. And then you scroll down until you find the radio. So in this case, UV2, that's the one we're looking for. And we can see the firmware and driver download. So then we could just download that software right here. But we've already done that. We've already installed it, so we should be set now. So at this point, I'm going to open up that software. And from here, we want to make sure our radio is still turned on and plugged in. And now we are going to read from that radio. So in your CPS, click on the COM port icon, and you'll see COM3, which is recognized as the radio. Excuse me, as the radio. Now, if you have multiple devices plugged in your computer, what can happen is there might be multiple COM port selections. And typically, if the radio is the last thing you plugged in, the radio is going to be at the very bottom. So just keep that in mind. If there's multiple options, the CPS isn't automatically going to find the right one for your radio. So you do have to be aware of that. But this is the only thing I have plugged in, so we're going to select it. And then just click the button to the left of that COM port icon. It says read from radio, and we are going to go ahead and read it. Don't care about the other data at this point, or I'm sorry, the digital contact list. We're just going to read the other data. Unless you already have that information in your radio, then you may want to read all of that. Perfect, here we go. So we can see the channels that are already in the radio. Now you can get rid of these, they're just basic channels, but I'm going to leave them there. No need to mess with them right now. So we are going to double click on the line below this and add in our new channel. So we know that the uplink frequency is going to be 449.4625. Now I'll explain uplink and downlink real quick for you guys who don't know. Uplink is basically, is really a very visual way to think about it. You have your radio, repeaters are usually on a tower, they're usually high up for better reception. So uplink is going up to the repeater. So from your radio up to the repeater, and then downlink is coming down from the repeater to your radio. So just keep that in mind when you're entering this information. So our uplink frequency, that means that we're going to add that to our transmit because we're transmitting from the radio up to the repeater. So that's going to be 449.4625. Oops. And then our receive, which is going to be our downlink frequency, is going to be 444.4625. Perfect. So we are set there. Now power level doesn't matter because we're not going to be using that, but you may want to set this for in the future. That way, once you receive your call sign or you get your license, you can easily just start using these channels. So because the repeater's a little bit further away, I'm going to set it at turbo. And there we go, we're set here. Now color code, we remember that was 4. Got that written down here. And then time slot 1, we're set there. Now, obviously we are just going to be listening, so I'm not going to add a talk group because there's no way to select a talk group, and we'll talk about that a little bit here in a second. So I'm going to leave that blank for now, and then give it a name. Let's see. KCI repeater, perfect. And that should be pretty much it. We've got it set up as a repeater. There's one more step, and this is crucial. So if you don't have your license yet and you want to use this to listen to it, you definitely want to check this PTT prohibit. And what that's going to do, it's going to make it so you can't actually push the push-to-talk button and have it activate the transmitter on the radio. So there's no chance, once you select that, of accidentally transmitting and getting in trouble. So we are set here, so go ahead and click OK. And there we go. Now, a couple more things we need to do. So we need to add that to a zone, otherwise we won't actually see it on the radio. So you can add it to this zone, or I'm just going to create a new, actually, in fact, I'll just leave it here and add this over into the zone. We'll just put that one channel in there. Perfect, just like that. Oh, that's zone 2. That wasn't my intention here. We'll get rid of that. So I'm just going to open up zone 1 and remove everything that's over here. And then we will add this one KCI repeater channel to our zone 1. And there we go. Perfect. So we've got everything in the zone. So we're almost there. There's one more thing we need to do, which is under optional settings. There's a lot of different customization you can do in here and have fun with. So you're free to do that on your own time. A lot of fun. But there is something we need to do to make it really usable, which is under work mode. You want to change this display mode from frequency to channel. And what that's going to do is, instead of displaying the frequency, it's going to actually display the channel name. And as you get more repeaters and more, later down the road, once you have your license, more talk groups, that's going to be a big deal for you. So make sure we change that. And at this point, we are pretty much set. Now, as soon as you get your license and get your call sign, you would go over here to digital, you would go under the digital section to radio ID list and input your call sign and your name and then your radio ID there. But we don't have that yet, and we're not going to be using that yet because we don't have that. So let's go ahead and click on that COM port button again. We still see the radios here. Now at this point, we can click on the Write to Radio button and write the other data to the radio. Now you can also add the digital contact list. That will work in this setting. That way you'll be able to see who all of the people are who are talking on the repeater. But we are not going to do that at this time. And there we go, perfect. So we can see the radio booting up over here. Unplug this real quick. There we go, perfect. So we have basically taken everything else out of the radio that was on there. Otherwise, you would need to select the channel you want to listen to. And we are all set. So I'm going to move this radio aside for a second. And just for ease of use here with you guys, I'm going to change the light time real quick. Let's see here. Oops. Okay. Anyway, so we are all set here. So now what we want to do is go to Menu, and then you will scroll down to, there's a setting called Digimani. That stands for Digital Monitor. So you want to select that, and then there's a switch. So you click on that Digimani switch, and then you can select either double or single time slot. I'm going to select double. Now, that basically allows us to either monitor both time slots or just one time slot. Now, on this repeater, we know time slot 1 is probably what we want to monitor. But, if you're just getting out there to listen to things, I like to have the opportunity to listen to all the activity. So why not have both time slots in there? So we are set there now. Now, as you can see up in the top menu bar here, there's a little speaker icon, kind of a pink speaker icon. That shows that we are now digitally monitoring. So we'll turn up the volume on this radio a little bit so you can hear it. Now on my other radio over here, I have the same repeater, same local repeater. It's up in Trimble, Missouri. It's called the KCI repeater. I guess they recently moved it up there. I have that programmed into this radio with the parrot. Now here's the cool thing about digital monitor. You can even hear parrot transmissions, not just activity on the repeater. You can hear if someone keys up to it with a parrot, you'll hear that come back. Now, you're not going to be able to get on with your digital monitor and select a talk group, for example, because you have to key up for that. So you are a little bit limited to whatever people are talking on there. You know, if someone's on there talking to the Texas talk group, for example, you will hear the transmissions to that and coming back from that talk group, but you can't really change what's going on, if that makes sense. So you're only limited to what other people are doing on the repeater, but it's still a lot of fun to listen to. So we are going to try this out real quick and see if it doesn't work. So this is W3AMG testing out the parrot on the local repeater. Let's see here. Okay, well, let's try that one more time here. This is W3AMG testing out the parrot on the local repeater.
Local repeater.
Oh, there we go. So, like I said, it is a little ways away. We're kind of in a valley here, so we might have a little bit of reception issue. So I'm going to hold this radio up a little bit here, and we'll try it like this. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is W3AMG trying out the local repeater.
Testing 1, 2, 3. This is W3AMG.
Oh, yep. There you go. So we just had to hold it up a little bit more, not quite enough reception down here. But as we can see, it is working great. So obviously, if you don't do this in a basement in the studio, you'll have a lot better luck with it. But we can now receive audio from the local repeater. So, you know, if anyone's on that local repeater, we are going to hear about it, which is awesome. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. Now you can add multiple repeaters. So if you have you know, other repeaters in your area, you can add all of those to your radio and start listening before you get your call sign or even have your license, which is awesome. I know there's been a lot of requests for this. People, you know, they want to get their radio or they have their radio and start working with it before they get their license, but they don't know how to do that. So this is the solution for you. So I just want to remind you guys real quick, we are giving away this a brand new 878 Plus radio in this specific stream. So you do have to be present to win, so don't go anywhere. We are going to give one of these away. Make sure you enter that giveaway. It's in the description on how to enter. Very easy to enter, and you have great odds for winning, so definitely stick around. Also want to mention the summer giveaway is going on right now, so don't miss out on that. Over a $2,500 value, as well as we also have some in-house salespeople. They're very knowledgeable about these radios, so if you have any questions at all, feel free to give them a call. The number is 816-532-8451, and then press 2 for sales. And they will be more than happy to help you out with you know, deciding the right radio or just asking questions about the features on it. So anyway, do we have any questions?
Does the Anytone have a on-the-fly option to choose talk groups?
Someone asked if the Anytone has an on-the-fly option to choose talk groups. So yes, it does. There's a very easy way to choose talk groups. So we'll demonstrate it here on this radio because I think I have some. We can see that perfect. So you just literally go into menu and then talk group and talk group list. Let's say I want Europe. I can select that and do select contact. And that will select that talk group for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's really simple. Now, obviously for the digital monitor function, you're not able to go select a talk group and listen to it because to do that you have to key up to it. So you're only limited to what other people are doing on that repeater. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to show you real quick, which is really neat. Because we selected the PTT prohibit, if I try to push the push to talk button, it will not let me do so. It beeps at me, doesn't let you do it. Any more questions out there, guys?
We got a lot of compliments. We have a comment here from Ted. Funny that a little bit of elevation helps.
Someone said that from Ted. He said, "Funny that a little bit of elevation helps." Absolutely, it's amazing how much difference a little bit of elevation makes. So if you guys ever have trouble with reception, you're out out in the wilderness, or out in the road trip, and you're having trouble hitting the repeater, always go to the higher ground. Have better luck.
I was wondering if, like the BTEC DMR, you can hold the 0 button and manually bunch in the talk group.
Someone asked if like another radio, you can hold the 0 button and manually punch in the talk group number. I believe there is a way to do that. I am not personally familiar with how that works, but you're more than welcome to give us a phone call, and we can get that figured out for you. But I do believe, like I said, I don't know for sure. I've never used that personally, but I have heard of that before, so I would not be surprised if they do that.
What happens if 2 or more conversations are going on at the same time?
Someone asked a great question. What happens if 2 or more conversations are going on at the same time? So it's really not going to act any differently than a normal repeater would. Generally, whatever conversation comes in first is the one that you're going to hear.
Are there plans to make setting the offset easier on the 878 series? You cannot set it with the number keys. It's very frustrating.
Someone asked if there are plans to make setting the offset on the 878 series easier. I guess you can't set it with the number keys. So I haven't heard of anything like that at the moment, but I appreciate the suggestion. We'll definitely take that into consideration.
If you have to key the radio to connect to a talk group, aren't you chunking everyone on that talk group?
Someone asked the question, if you have to key the radio to access a talk group, aren't you kerchunking everyone on that talk group? So that's a great question. I know for all the DMR talk groups, that's pretty much how it works. You just have to key up to it. That is a good question. I personally, when I get on talk groups, I usually just start talking. I would say, hey, I'm W3AMG, so I've never really run into that. So that is a good question, though. If you're more interested in that, like I said, feel free to give us a call, and we'll help you find out.
Does the 878 have a desk mic?
Someone asked a great question. Does the 878 have a desk mic? So we don't have one specifically for it, but I'm sure I would not be surprised if someone makes one out there. It uses the standard K1 style plug on it. So we have a variety of speaker mics and microphones you can use with it, headsets, everything like that. So I would not be surprised if someone makes a desk mic that works with a K1 plug for a radio.
Can you enter the repeater settings without the software and do it directly on the radio?
Someone asked a question. This is a really good question, by the way. If you can enter the repeater's information and settings directly from the radio as opposed to having to use the software. And in fact, yes, you can. We recently did a live stream that shows just that. So you can absolutely do that. And we'll cover that more in the future because that's a really good one.
What do you recommend for a first DMR radio?
Someone asked a great question on what we recommend for a first DMR radio. Now, it does depend a little bit what your purpose is for it. If you're wanting to use it for local repeaters and mainly in your vehicle, probably recommend a mobile. If you want to use it with a hotspot or maybe you have a local repeater really close by, recommend a handheld, or if you just like having that handheld radio, the 878 UV2 Plus is probably the best starter radio right now. It's very easy to use. It comes with all of the Bridgecom University that's provided with it, so you'll have endless amount of learning to learn how to use it. And the cool thing with this, it has a large memory capacity. So unlike some of the other radios out there, you're not going to run out of memory for digital contacts anytime soon. And then the 578, the tri-band version, is an awesome mobile choice. I don't know if there's any other tri-band 220 radios that will do all 3 bands, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and 220 that will do 220 DMR. It's a really neat radio.
DMR works with all VHF and UHF antennas?
Someone asked if DMR works with all UHF and VHF antennas. Yeah, so DMR isn't really specific to an antenna. You can have a traditional VHF antenna and use it with VHF DMR, absolutely.
What is the output power on the handheld?
Someone asked a good question, what the output power is on the handheld. So I believe on these, on VHF or 2 meter, you're looking at 7 watts output power, so a lot of juice there, and 6 watts on UHF. So you'll be talking to people all around your area.
How do mobile hotspots work in relation to finding a Wi-Fi system when using your DMR radio mobile?
Someone asked a question about hotspots. How do mobile hotspots work with Wi-Fi in relation to to finding your what was the question again? I apologize.
In relation to finding a Wi-Fi system when using your DMR radio mobile.
In relation to finding a Wi-Fi system when using your DMR radio mobile. So I guess I'm a little bit confused by the question, but I'll try to answer it the best I can. So a mobile hotspot like a SkyBridge allows you to use your radio with DMR directly. It acts as your own personal repeater. So if you have it connected up to Wi-Fi or Ethernet, now that could be a cell phone's Wi-Fi network or a direct Ethernet plug-in, then you can use it basically as your own personal repeater.
Can the mobile radio scan DMR and analog radios at the same time?
Someone asked another good question, if the mobile radio can scan DMR and analog radios at the same time. Now it does have dual monitoring. It will monitor both channels at the same time. Now these have dual watch, so they come really close, but the 578, the big tri-band mobile, it has dual monitoring. So yes, I believe I would, give us a call. We'll let you know if it does both analog and digital. I'm 90% sure it will. I know it will definitely scan both at the same time. I know in the scan list you can definitely have digital and analog in there. But as for the dual monitoring, I believe you can, but double check with us first.
Any idea if they'll come out with an upgraded 578 like they did for the 878?
Someone asked if there's any idea if they'll come out with an upgraded 578 like they did for the 878. So that's a great question. All I can say there is stay tuned. We'll let you know if anything happens there. Okay, perfect. Yeah, here we go. Here's the 578 mobile radio. So this is a great option if you're looking for a mobile radio. And here's the SkyBridge hotspot that you were talking about. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. Just stay in the loop. But regardless, this is a fantastic radio as it is.
How well does the crossband repeater work on the 578?
Someone asked how well the crossband repeat function works on the 578 radio. It actually works really well. It's neat how it works. You can have it in your vehicle or anywhere. That's kind of the main use for it. And have it talk into a repeater and then use your handheld radio on the go. Let's say you leave your vehicle going on a slight walk. You can use it as your repeater to keep talking to that other repeater. It works really well.
Can a scan list be created to scan both analog and digital channels in the same scan list?
Someone asked if a scan list can be created to scan both analog and digital channels in the scan list. So yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
578 is awesome. Use it in a Go box.
Oh, someone says the 578 is awesome. Use it in the Go box. That's awesome. I've seen some really neat things people have done with this radio. There's some people have put them in all kinds of cool boxes and bug out, scenarios. It's pretty neat seeing what people can come up with.
4000 unlink, how does that work?
Someone asked how the 4000 disconnect works. So there's a talk group called 4000. It's also known as the disconnect talk group. And that basically allows you to disconnect from a talk group. So if you're on the talk group, you key that up and now you disconnect and basically turn off the talk group for your radio.
I think that is all the many questions.
So
One more.
One more question here.
Any way to get more output power on 224 megahertz?
Someone asked if there's any way to get more output power on 224 megahertz. So I assume you mean on the 578 with the 220 functionality. So it is a little bit limited on the output power there. So you're not going to make the radio do more power, but what you can do is you can improve your antenna setup, get a higher gain antenna that's more specified and tuned for 220. Make sure it's a 220 capable antenna, and you will have much better performance that way.
Okay, we have a winner.
Okay, we have a giveaway winner. So one of you has gotten lucky and won yourself a brand new 878 Plus. Let's see who it is. Now you do have to be present to win, so don't go anywhere just yet.
Chuck Lane, KB3RCN.
The winner is Chuck Lane, and what was his call sign?
KB3RCN.
KB3RCN. Chuck Lane, KB3RCN. Are you here? You have just, let's see, let's make sure you're here first. Are you here? Chuck Lane. Now, if Chuck is not here, we'll draw another winner, so don't go anywhere yet. Okay, Chuck Lane.
Oh, Charles Lane. I think that's him.
Is that it?
Yep,
Charles
it
Lane?
is. Yep.
Perfect. We have a winner. Charles Lane, congratulations. Congratulations, Chuck. You have just won yourself a brand new 878 Plus radio. These radios are awesome. They have built-in Bluetooth. You'll be talking to people all over the place, all around the world with DMR. So congratulations to you. Don't forget to enter the summer giveaway, over a $2,500 value. And make sure to share this with anyone else who could benefit from it. And also, if you're interested in one of these radios or have any more questions about it, give us a call. We'd love to help. You know, we enjoy helping people find what they need. So number is 816-532-8451 and press 2. So looks like that is it. I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. It means everything. Wouldn't be possible without you. So until next time, 7-3.